Today I thought it would be nice to possibly do a chit chat get ready with me because I've never done anything like that, and I thought it would be a nice idea so that you guys can get to know me a little bit more while I do my makeup, even though once again we're not really going anywhere. As we all know, we're going through a pandemic, which is honestly a little bit stressful for a lot of people, and I just thought it would be a good idea to talk about other things just because it's all we hear about every single day, so I just thought it would be useful to just have a chat about something else for a change. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the thoughts and feelings I've been having over the last few weeks, especially about my future and my plans for the future, because that's something I've been thinking a lot about. Just because you're at this stage when you start university where you have to start thinking about what type of career you want to have in school. For instance, we're already working on our CVs and cover letters. I personally don't know what I want to do in the future, to be very honest. I just know that I want to have a job where I feel like I can be flexible with what I'm doing, not the typical, 9 to 5 stuck to a computer. I think a lot of people, especially millennials, tend to have that idea of what job they want to do, but I know for a fact that I want to do something in business, which is obviously a little bit of a dichotomy because I'm taking psychology. But even in psychology, I knew that if I was going to go down that route, that I would do business psychology or something along those lines. And it does exist, and I can still choose to do that. I just think the only reason I may be slightly deterred from that is that they often work more in the public sector, and I'm looking for something more private. I don't know, that's just always how I've seen it. And I think I'm also thinking of doing a few years working out in the industry and then figuring out whether I want to start my own business or something like that, because that's honestly kind of how I've seen my future go down, at least. But I don't know what I would make or what I would create in order to turn into a business. So that's some of the thoughts I've been having about future careers and all that. My cat is having, hey boo boo, this is my baby. But yeah, so that's one of the first things I've been thinking about. I should probably get started on my makeup. I already moisturized my face this morning, so I'm just going to go straight ahead with my foundation. Mine is Fenty Beauty. I love this product, so I wouldn't go for anything else. I haven't honestly found anything, especially in Hong Kong, you're very limited in terms of shades, so this has been working the best for me. And if I keep looking down here, that's where my mirror is. But yeah, I don't know, all that to say that I've been thinking a little bit already about which cities I'd want to live in, as well as whether I want to take a master's later on or not, because it'll kind of depend on the job that I'm doing. And I think for me the most important thing so far has been figuring out what job, what internship I would do on my placement year. So I think that honestly is one of the great things about Loughborough, is that they give you the opportunity to do, and a few universities do this, but they give you the opportunity to do a placement year, which is basically a year where you're working in the field of choice that you want to do. And obviously it's a similar system as in the real world, where you have to write a CV and a cover letter and all that stuff, and they select you based on that process, as well as your grades and stuff. And I think for me, I'm not entirely sure yet. I've been kind of so far drawn to consulting. That's something that seemed very interesting to me because it's more project-based. I think a lot of, jobs in business are project-based, but I think this to me sounded like something very linear, very clear, oh, you are here and you want to get there, how do you get there, and work with companies to do that. And that's just what made me super interested in that profession, as well as the fact that, yeah, it is in business. And good news about that is that you don't exactly need a specific degree for it, which is great, because psychology is pretty malleable. You can use it for quite a lot of different degrees. Obviously not degrees that are super specific, but degrees in business is often where you can learn the most from, and you don't necessarily need a degree in business or a degree in finance in order to get in there, which is obviously working to my advantage. But I was mostly thinking of maybe getting a consulting job. I've also been slightly curious about HR, but to be very honest, I think consulting attracts me a little bit more than HR, just because the people aspect can be I think, tiring in the long run. That's just kind of how I see it. And especially if you're, you're not only managing who you're hiring, but also who you're firing, which I think could be pretty stressful. So I don't know, I've been just like thinking a little bit about that, thinking as well about pays, because I feel like that's important and a lot of people don't mention it enough. Like, I think they're too scared to mention, or too scared to even say that, the pay of a certain job matters, but it really does. And I think for me personally, if I want to get to the places I want to like live in or even be or visit or whatever, like I'm gonna need to have a higher pay. And I don't know why it's so controversial to say stuff like that, but I'm gonna be frankly honest, and I think consulting is good in that department where pay increases relatively quickly in the first few years that you're in the industry, which is really nice. It's good to know as well that you're being rewarded for the work that you're putting in. I've always known that I've kind of wanted a little bit of like an office-like atmosphere. The idea of like startups as well has always like kind of attracted me as well, because it seems a little bit more like a close-knit group. And I don't know, I don't know exactly what I want, but I'm very open to a lot of things, which is why I'm ready to try out so many things. But I'm glad I'm starting to think about it now rather than be completely confused by the time I have to pick something and be like, shit, I don't know what I want to do, So yeah, that's something that's been on my mind lately. Another thing for me has been making sure that I know where I want to live in the future, like even, in the first few years of working and all that, because I think that's pretty important. So far, I've been really drawn to, I would say, like 3 places. London would be the easiest. I think that's where I might work first, right after I graduate. And I don't know yet if I'm planning on graduating, working for a few years, and then going back to do a master's or not. I haven't fully decided yet. It'll just really depend. And then another opportunity I could have is going to New York. But I feel like the rent in New York is so high for what you get. And I don't know if I could afford it, with the pay that you'd be getting as like a graduate student. So I think that's something I might have to wait a couple of years before doing. And then the last place I've been thinking about is Berlin. And Berlin mostly because like it's in Germany for one, and I kind of always felt like I wanted to get in touch a little bit more of my German roots, because again, I don't speak the language. And if I'm completely honest, I haven't done enough in order to learn it either. But I think the main barrier has been not being in a place where I can actually speak the language. Like, I know my father speaks German, but it's different because we all speak French at home. But I think if I'm in a place where everyone speaks German, I feel like I'll pick up the language a lot faster. So that's what, to me, is kind of encouraging me and pulling me towards this place. I just turn it off and put it back on because I always get scared that the camera's not filming after a certain while, like that happened last time. But all that to say, by the way, I'm doing my eyeshadow with a MAC palette called Mischief Minx. So yeah, and I'm using the brown color here. That's often what I use to do as like the crease and the ends, because it works well for me. But yeah, just all that to say that, I don't know, I just feel like Berlin has been a place that kind of pulled me. Yeah, I really saw myself going there, so I don't know, I'm curious to find out more about the world. And then in general as well, like there's so much that I could be doing in terms of like traveling and getting to know places. Like, I've never been to Italy, which sounds crazy because I love the food and like I just feel like it's some place that I've always kind of wanted to visit. So it's just kind of like, I really want to go. I always miss the opportunity of going, which sucks. But yeah, that's one place I want to visit. Spain as well, I've never been. Wow, I just shoved that right into my eye. That's never happened before, but damn, that's painful. Also, another things that I've been thinking about lately is getting another cat, or maybe, I'm still hesitating. I'm thinking I might get like a kitten because I feel like next year might be the only opportunity really to be able to take care of one, because next year obviously it's not as serious as your final year, and then the year before that I have my placement year where I'm working. So I feel like the only real opportunity I have to like take care properly of like a growing kitten would be next year. So I've been thinking about that, and then I was thinking, I don't know, that's Hong Kong for you. But I was just thinking, like, you done? Okay. No, I was just thinking how Jack is getting a little bit older, and once I'm gonna get into, the working world, he's gonna be at home mostly by himself, especially the first few years. Like, I'm pretty sure they work their interns pretty hard. So I feel like that's probably gonna be what my schedule's gonna look like, probably like a 9 to 5. And I can't really keep him at home by himself, like completely. Jack, by the way, is my cat. So I don't know, I've been thinking about that and thinking about whether it's a great idea to leave him by himself. And I feel like it would be kind of depressing if he's just by himself all day long. So I was thinking of getting another cat, one for that reason, and two because I just love cats. I don't know, like he gets a little bit hostile with space at first, but you know, it'll be fine, especially if they get introduced to the house that we're gonna live in next year around the same time. Then there won't be any competition. Next thing I'm gonna do is get this like more, it's like a glittery bronzy pink color, and put that all over my eyelid. I just think it's always good to plan these things out, especially since no one else is gonna do it for me. The only, I think, setback would be affording it, because a kitten, at least in the cat situation, I was just saying like it's better if I find like a good time or opportunity in order to adopt, so that I don't have to deal with a lot of issues. I think the only thing is that if I'm in London, I'm not really too sure about the housing situation there and whether pets are allowed usually or not, and I think that's something I'd have to look into. And I was also saying like this to me is like a typical makeup look. I would say like this is usually like every day if I'm meeting a friend and going out of the house sort of look, because I normally don't do this if I stay at home. But I usually go for those two colors. And yeah, I try to keep it simple, because often like you're not gonna do something crazy if you're gonna just see a friend or something. When I go out, I tend to do something a little bit more expressive. Like I just got a blue eyeliner, for instance, and I like to mix it up with like this orange shade that I have here, or like even in this other palette that I have from MAC as well, this one shade here, which is like absolutely great as well. But I tend to like try to do something a little bit more noticeable in the dark. Then as a highlighter, I use this shade usually. Like in the other palette, as you saw, there's more of like a white tone shade, which I might use maybe on a night out if I'm going for more neutral colors. But because we're going for like more warm colors and like a more like rosy look and all that, this works best. And since I don't have a brush, I literally just use my finger, and no one's gonna tell me off for it. So I just lightly put it on like my upper cheekbones, and then a little bit to do that little archway, and then I'll just kind of put it like slightly underneath my eyebrows. Honestly, I almost forgot to do my eyebrows, not gonna lie. I didn't actually do my eyebrows until like much later. I think I only started maybe 2 years ago, and before that I just never did anything with them. I just kind of left them as is, but then I noticed sometimes in photos that they kind of appear slightly gray, which to me was like, what? So I just colored them in very lightly. So I'm just going to show you guys that. And since I don't have like any sort of eyebrow pencil or whatever, like I had one from MAC and it was really good, but then it broke off, and then afterwards like I finished that little piece, and then now I just have like the brush that goes with it. But yeah, these are often like the two colors I use for my eyebrows. I tend to go mostly with this one and then slightly go in with that at the end, just so that I don't get like too dark with the eyebrows. And I kind of like to keep it like a feathery look, because you know, I feel like block eyebrows don't really look good on me at all. It then looks like too forced. I have no idea if the angle that I'm filming in is even nice, but I guess we'll see afterwards. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in the slightly darker brown. I don't like to use this one as much because I feel like it's slightly glittery. Like not too much, but just slightly, and you know, you don't want to have like glittery brows, you know? But I just kind of like go with it a little bit, just so that it slightly matches like my original color. I think that's fine. I don't think I overdid them, I hope. And then I just kind of find my little brush. There it is. This honestly looks like a mess right now, but this was originally the eyebrow pencil I had. I would open it and it would come out here, and I would just draw little strokes, but not really working at the minute. And then now I just have the brush, so I'll just comb it up real quick, and if it gets a little bit messy, I'll just go over the top. Look at that. And that's it. Finito. I don't usually put eyeliner during the day because I feel like it's a hassle and it's so easy to mess up, and I can't be bothered to redo my eyeliner like 3 times a day. So I'll just like go in with mascara and then call it a day from there. This one that I have is from Benefit. They're real. I love this mascara. I literally like, I don't usually buy products twice because I just kind of like get whatever's like offered to me or gifted to me, and then, you know, deal with this one, like deal with that. But this one's really, really nice. Right now this one's looking, so yeah, I usually just keep the upper one and then I kind of just leave it like that. And then usually I don't do anything with my lips because I feel like my lips get so sensitive. Like I usually get this sort of allergy thing, so I tend to like avoid anything on my lips that I know is not going to work out. So I usually just put lip balm as well because they get super dry, and I feel like certain lipstick and lip glosses really dry my lips out even more. Yeah, it's usually what I do. But if I were to put something on, I recently bought a few lipsticks. They're kind of like liquid matte lipsticks. This one is from NYX, like they're both from NYX, but this one is called the Soft Matte Lip Cream, which looks really, really nice, and I like to add it in when I'm going out or something because it looks really cool. Otherwise, I love the MAC lipsticks. Like, I stole my mom's red MAC lipstick a while ago, but that's that. It looks literally great. I love it. Then I have another MAC one that's a little bit more, it's like a pinkish nude, slightly purplish shade. I don't love it because it's not the perfect nude for me, but it will work with like certain looks. But then I have this one, which is like slightly more reddish, and it's the NYX Lingerie. This one is exotic. Those are the 3 ones that I usually go for, and this is the usual makeup look that I go for. So hope you guys enjoyed. If I'm taking a night out, I'd like to take a lot more time to do something cool with my makeup looks, especially like ever since Euphoria happened. Like I'm literally obsessed with trying out new looks and making sure that they look nice. So yeah, that's my makeup look, and hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you ever want me to do another one of these, let me know in the comments and I'll try to get some out again. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and follow my Insta as well. Bye!